The restoration project is still in progress at the Shrine of St. Joseph. One of the latest efforts centers on the church's giant Pfeffer organ, manufactured and first installed in 1890 by the Joseph Pfeffer Pipe Organ Company of St. Louis.
It's on the historical landmark in addition to the church, so we can't add anything to it. Like if we want to put chimes or something to it, we can't. We could put them alongside it, but the organ has to be exactly what it was 110 years ago. And you can't add anything and you can't take anything away.
It was 1980 by the time there was enough money to restore the organ the first time. It had deteriorated over time and did not play at all. Back then, members of the St. Louis Organ Society took it apart and repaired it. Restoring the organ this time, the Martin Ott Organ Company in St. Louis County.
And that first day that they came down here, I sat up there and watched them take apart. I couldn't sleep that night. They took my baby apart. No, it was interesting. What they did is they took a piece off at a time and took a picture of the piece there, then took a picture of the piece sitting by itself, so that they know exactly where every piece of that organ goes that they took off. And they took it all to their plant.
Where they are restoring everything, from new ivory on the keyboard to a new leather bellow.
I will walk before the Lord.
The Shrine of St. Joseph, the Church of Miracles. Do miracles still happen here? Frank Fessler and his wife Julianne think so.
It's in the summer of 1985. We were big ballpark fans, and we knew there was 11 o'clock Mass here. And we decided to attend Mass before a ball game. And we immediately fell in love with the shrine and decided this was the place we were to be wed at.
The Fesslers were married at the shrine. Their son Frankie and daughter Tess were both baptized here. And they believe their prayers were answered here too, when their son was born with a serious heart problem.
My son was born with basically a half of a heart, and he had his first surgery. He was born with hypoplastic right heart and pulmonary atresia, and he had his first surgery when he was under 24 hours of age. And he subsequently had another surgery when he was 9 days old, and then 3 months old, 6 months old, and then 3 years old. So he's had a succession of surgeries to correct his heart problem. And we'll probably be facing another one down the road, we just don't know when. And my daughter Tess had one surgery at birth, and she is doing fine. They were in St. Louis Children's Hospital, and one of us came down here almost every day. And this is truly the altar of answered prayers for us, which it is at the Shrine of St. Joseph. It has helped us through our trying times tremendously with our faith and the friendship and support that is here. That's why they're here today.
The Shrine of St. Joseph stands today as an icon in a neighborhood which is now making a comeback. New housing is stabilizing this near north side of St. Louis. Property values are increasing. People are coming from all over the region to attend Sunday Mass at the shrine.
This is my body, which will be given up for you.
In many ways, the Shrine of St. Joseph symbolizes everything good about the human spirit. For it to be still standing in this 21st century, many would say is a miracle in itself. For it took an extraordinary effort from a group of ordinary men. Men with last names of Ortega, Boll, Finninger, Voss, Wolford, and Filipiak. Men whose commitment and perseverance, whose courage and vision, preserved the century-old roots and German heritage of the first families in this parish. People like the Lautenbachers, the Ubens, the Brauns, the Kohlstedts, and the Lanzettels. And today they still come here to this glorious church. So many people of God with so many needs, coming before the altar of answered prayers, venerating the relic of St. Peter Claver, asking for a favor, a healing, a miracle.
Another major difference here in the church is the pulpit behind me. This pulpit was manufactured here in South St. Louis and installed here in the church in 1894. It's all hand carven out of wood. You see little figures that go around the side of the pulpit. Those are 4 of the doctors of the church. Around is St. Jerome, St. Leo, and on the far side over here is St. Ambrose. The side altar is called the Jesuit altar. And the reason it's called the Jesuit altar is that all the statues up there are of Jesuits who have become saints. The Jesuit altar is just a memorial to the Jesuits. There are 3 statues of Jesuits who were martyred or who had died at a very young age. One is St. Aloysius Gonzaga, who's the patron of youth. The other 2 are St. Stanislaus Kostka and St. John Berchans. And below the Jesuit altar, there's a statue of Jesus Christ in the Holy Sepulchre. I don't know if you can see that statue of the Blessed Mother encased behind glass up there, but there's a story behind that. When the Jesuits extended this church out in 1866, they ordered a new statue of the Blessed Mother from Europe. But before the one they had ordered was completed, this one was finished and scheduled to go into the cathedral in Paris, France, into Notre Dame Cathedral. But there was a little war going on between the French and the Prussians, the Franco-Prussian War, and the manufacturer couldn't deliver it to Notre Dame, so they sent it over here to the Jesuits. It's a much more beautiful, much more expensive statue of the Blessed Mother than what they had originally ordered, and so they encased it behind glass. And as far as I can determine, that glass has never been removed. Above the statue of our Blessed Mother, there's a Latin inscription that says, Ecce Matre Tua, which means, behold your mother. And in the silver shield above that, it says, Hail Mary, full of grace. And then there are other statues, of course, on the Blessed Mother's altar. There's St. Agnes. And St. Cecilia. And below the altar, there's a mannequin of St. Justin the Boy Martyr. St. Justin the Boy Martyr was a teenager who lived in France in the 3rd century, and when they were persecuting Catholics. And one day after he had taken communion, they grabbed him and they slit his throat to try to remove the host out of his throat, and that's how he was martyred. Now I like to go over the details of the altar with you. If you look at the very top in the center, you see the Sacred Heart, and then on either side of the Sacred Heart you see angels. The angel over here on my right is holding the cross of salvation. And the angel on the other side is holding the anchor of hope. And if you come down below the Sacred Heart, you see a Latin inscription that says Ad Majorem Dei Gloriam, which means for the greater glory of God, and which is the motto of the Jesuits. I told you the Jesuits began this parish back in 1843, and they didn't leave here until 1966. That means, of course, they were here for 123 years, and they definitely left their stamp on the altar and on the church.